As a crucial New York primary approaches, Republican Donald Trump is launching even more attacks on the GOP establishment.
And Democrat Bernie Sanders launched a long-distance attack on Hillary Clinton, who is here in California building her campaign war chest. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us now with more on the wild developments today on the campaign trail. Dave?
You know, the primary is in New York Tuesday, right? I mean, that was the last thing I understood. So where are the candidates? They couldn't be further away. After last night's fiery debate, both Democrats got out of New York. Hillary Clinton came to California for two big money fundraisers with a Hollywood flavor, and Bernie Sanders went to the Vatican City, to discuss issues like income inequality. All this while Donald Trump launched his clearest attack yet on the Republican establishment, warning it will lose millions of votes if he's not the candidate.
You know, the system is rigged, folks.
Sitting on a 35-point lead in the New York polls, but still bristling about the delegate selection process, Donald Trump doubled down on the threats against the Republican Party, the party he expects to represent in the 2016 presidential race. At a Friday night rally in Hartford, Connecticut, Trump issued a thinly veiled threat against the GOP, which sounded like a path to a possible third-party candidacy if he doesn't win the Republican nomination.
And the Republicans want to play cute with us, right? If I don't make it, you're going to have millions of people that don't vote for a Republican. They're not going to vote at all. Millions of people. Because they're tired of the Republicans. They're tired of the politicians. All talk, no action. They've had it. They've totally had it. And then we have a rigged system on top of it. But despite the rigging, I think we get there before the convention. I think we do.
In a Wall Street Journal op-ed piece, Trump wrote, "I, for one, am not interested in defending a system that for decades has served the interest of political parties at the expense of the people." The RNC chairman told CBS correspondent Major Garrett nothing is being rigged against Trump.
Just because someone doesn't like the kind of rules in particular states doesn't necessarily mean that the rules are rigged. It just means they wish that the delegates were awarded a different way.
The latest Trump attack on the GOP comes after Senator Ted Cruz won 24 delegates this month at a Colorado convention, shutting out Trump.
Donald is unhappy with how they voted. He's entitled to be unhappy.
Senator,
we're focused on earning votes from the people.
But Trump was endorsed Friday by the New York Post, which said he's inspiring people who'd given up on ever again having a candidate who'd fight for them.
I think America is often beguiled by a billionaire because he's shiny.
A group of Trump's former Apprentice stars have a different view of their former boss.
Donald Trump is validating people's hate and his bigotry in a way that I truly believe has the potential to tear this country apart.
Looks like we're in Las Vegas.
The leading Democrat, Hillary Clinton, took a little gamble herself. Sitting on a comfortable lead in the New York polls, she flew to San Francisco to attend a big money fundraiser Friday evening, hosted by George Clooney, seen here arriving outside the event. Tickets, more than $33,000 per person, and the price is the same for a ticket at a Saturday fundraiser in Studio City. Her trip came just 24 hours after Senator Bernie Sanders criticized Clinton's fundraisers.
Do we really feel confident about a candidate saying that she's going to bring change in America when she is so dependent on big money interests? I don't think so.
And the Sanders campaign is running TV ads in the San Francisco market Friday and in the LA area Saturday, asking its supporters to contribute $27.
For the poor.
For the marginalized.
For the rich.
For all of us.
Give 27 to transform America.
Sanders followed up by getting even further from New York. He attended an issues conference in Vatican City, leaving some political strategists wondering why he would leave town 4 days before the crucial New York primary.
Step behind that barricade. When I received this invitation, I know it's taking me away from the campaign trail for a day. It was so moving to me that it was something that I could just simply not refuse to attend.
Well, Sanders also left the country on the day his campaign released his 2014 tax returns, as he promised he would at last night's debate. The returns reported Sanders and his wife Jane had an adjusted gross income of slightly over $200,000 and gave $8,350 to charity, only about 4% of their annual income.
Well, probably catch some grief from that, Dave, but let's talk a little bit more about his strategy. So yesterday was the Democratic debate, if you will.
Right.
And Sanders has the primary coming up in just a few days. So why does he go to Italy? What's the strategy in that?
Well, a lot of people are scratching their heads over that one, I can tell you. Sanders and his campaign say there is no political strategy, that the event was too important to miss. But the thinking might be that traveling to Vatican City to attend a conference and discuss some of the very issues Sanders is featuring in his campaign, like immoral wealth inequality, could help. It could add some legitimacy and stature to his issues and could push some voters, including Catholics, to reconsider. It also doesn't hurt that while he's flying to a holy place to take on income inequality, Hillary Clinton is flying to California to rake in the campaign cash from the rich and powerful who are paying more than $30,000 to attend. Because in politics, imagery can be a powerful factor, Lena.